Here I am with Will from Grassroots
Economics.
Grassroots Economics. Well,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us about what you're doing here and how's the experience been so far?
It's been good. I live just not far from here, so this is my hometown, and so it's nice because we were able to bring about 80 of my neighbors here today, and they could talk about their traditional mueria system, which is basically a way of doing rotational labor where someone can ask for support from the community and then they offer support in return, and it rotates around the community. And they're using blockchain to do that because it allows them to make promises for their future production without having to pay for it up front. This is an encrypted private key that you can use to log into a blockchain account. And so people who don't even have blockchain can just hold these and they can log in on any phone to their account and use it.
Amazing.
So like in Kenya, we don't have a lot of people with smartphones. And so people can have these, or they can use their SMS or USSD phones. This is them here.
Tell us what it is about.
So basically this tradition is probably one of the oldest traditions in the world. Is basically just one of supporting each other. And so they every day, like in a week, 4 days of the week, they will be going around house by house to make sure that everyone's farm is okay, that their house has got a good roof on it and all that stuff. And then they have ancient songs and dances about this stuff. And it vanished, this practice, a lot of it vanished around Kenya after colonialism, because basically people, instead of helping each other, they were just trying to get money, right? And so what we're trying to do is kind of reinvigorate and bring back those traditions. And so we're working with these groups. There's a lot of traditional, they're called Kaya elders, which is like the sacred forest here. And so that's their tradition. And what you see happening on blockchain, you can look at, there's a lot of graphics on our website. You can actually see the network of transactions and moving. So you're actually visualizing on blockchain these super ancient practices, and they look almost identical to decentralized exchanges, which is what's cool. It's it's a decentralized exchange of commitments for services that they exchange between groups. And so this is a dance here, and then over here they're doing a construction project, like they're building a traditional granary. Hii inaitwa tunajenga nini?
Luthaga.
Tulienda ngapi chini? Mbili na nusu. Niko sawa?
Sawa.
Nusu.
Unashindilia tena.
Okay.
Utagonga tena.
Okay. Sawa. Luthaga. Wanajenga, they're building a Luthaga. Luthaga is a traditional granary. So the idea is that there's going to be space to put a fire under this, and it's going to be a smokehouse, right? So like they're going to put grains up here. They're going to have makuti up on top. It'll be a clay on the sides, and then the smoke will go in there, and it'll cure all the maize, the corn that goes in there. And so this would be an example of what they do, is like going around to each house, making sure everything's set up. And it's like, if this is your place, you're committed to hosting them and supporting them in the next one, right? And so that's what we're using blockchain to basically track those systems and also combine them together so that they different groups. So this is like 4 different tribes of the Mijikenda people on the coast, and they all have this tradition, and they're all getting together around that, and they're using their tokens as just a transparent record of what's going on. And they can also connect in and out of US dollars as well, so they use stable coins as well. These ancient practices were much more like decentralized exchanges than we realize. There's no one currency, right? It's an exchanges between many value systems, many currencies, right? So like Uniswap times 1,000 kind of thing, like with many groups coming together and able to exchange with each other. So I think we're learning a lot from them, and all the blockchain protocols that we're working on, they just come from this stuff. So we have like 4 simple functions of our main protocol. That's the curation of which service providers can come in with their own token. They can come in up to a certain limit. So that's another thing. Like they can put in their vouchers, or we call them vouchers often, to pull out any other asset that's in there. It could be stable coins, right? So they put in their commitment, they pull out what they need at that moment. There's a relative value system, so like a quotation, like what is its value compared to the dollar or compared to each other. And then there's an exchange function, and then the curation of the group, they can also charge on that exchange to pay for that curation, right? And that's important because they, there's a lot of service around the elders and, managing those systems as well and making sure they're good curations. And so you're basically building portfolios of exchangeable assets, and that seems to be what these folks have been doing for thousands and thousands of years, and not just here, but across most of the world. There's some version of this. If you're in South America or wherever, India, there's some version of what in academia they call these rotating labor associations.
So that was Will Ruddick from Grassroots Economics. He just explained what they're doing, some amazing work where they're connecting blockchain tech with grassroots projects and the communities. I think I haven't heard of anything so real, such an impactful use case so far. I'm quite impressed, and I'd love to know more about this project and what you're doing, Will, and get involved hopefully at some level.
Awesome, dude.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jambi Njoroge. I work for Grassroots Economics Foundation. I've been working for the organization for the last 6 years. We work with community groups. We're helping them revive these traditional indigenous practices around mutual aid, the rotation of labor practice. So today we'll be building a granary